I still maintain that the more Donald Trump campaigns, the more votes he loses. It's like some sick form of reverse campaigning where he goes out, nearly drools on himself, stands around for a bit, and then walks off stage having accomplished nothing. And today, that's exactly what happened in Auburn Hills, Michigan, as Donald Trump held a campaign roundtable with Byron Donalds and other congressmen. Over here, Kamala Harris is holding a campaign event in Lansing, Michigan. They're holding competing campaign events, and the entire overarching narrative throughout this video is going to be the contrast between the two candidates. Not just the contrast, the world of difference. Not just the world of difference, the difference between Earth and the difference between Jupiters. These two candidates could not be farther apart, and we'll demonstrate that throughout this video. Make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and this is Trump standing around in Auburn Hills, Michigan, when he walks on stage. They cut his theme song short, and I can't play it due to copyright reasons. They are brutal about copywriting my channel for some reason, but he walks out and he just stands there. And this in and of itself has become normalized and is very weird. We cannot normalize candidates walking around and just standing there to music. Could you imagine? Could you imagine the articles that would be written, the right-wing accounts that would post about Kamala Harris just standing around for 10 minutes if she ever did that, or if she even walked out and stood on stage for 1 minute while a song played? That would be weird, but Donald Trump can stand there, sway around, he just keeps going. It just keeps happening. What is he doing? Why is he opening his mouth like that? Could you imagine any other candidate doing that? But there are double standards in the media. Look at this. It's so absurd. Let's get on to the real clip. So Donald Trump sits down for this America's Future tour, and he immediately is talking about, am I finished? Is this an easy life I have? He refers to the event he has next and is saying this is a busy day.
We'll go through it pretty quick, Dale, and then I'm going over to make a little speech in front of 10,000 people. You think this is an easy life I have, right? I go from here, I say, am I finished? They say, no, sir, you have one more speech. Oh, good, where is it? We'll go.
Somebody who's really happy to be there, for sure, with the people of Michigan. In this clip, Donald Trump is talking about microphone quality, implying that the staff shouldn't be paid.
Important process. I love these exploding mics, don't you? No, it's good for emphasis, you know? It explodes every time. Yeah, right. It explodes every time you're about to make an important point, so it's okay. It's not bad. I don't know. Normally I say don't pay the guy that supplied the mics, you know?
What? No shot he goes. How is it so instinctive for him to immediately go to this place where you don't pay the staffers? Go to this place where you have to rip people off and short them because there's extra plosives on the microphone. It makes zero sense, but Mark Cuban went on Theo Vaughn's podcast and explained exactly why Donald Trump rips people off. If you don't know, Theo Vaughn is a comedian who owns a podcast that a lot of young men my age listen to all the time. So this is Mark Cuban being a surrogate into the brosphere, if you want to call it that. And he perfectly explains why Trump just isn't a good person, isn't a good man.
He's ripped off, I can't even tell you how many people, right? People I know, right, that he's ripped off.
I mean, there's been a lot of alleged issues with contractors.
No, I'm telling you about, I'm telling you people I know, right? He, like, Barbara Corcoran, she said something about this from Shark Tank, right? Mm-hmm. He hired her or asked her to sell a bunch of condos in a new building that he'd put up. And she did. Sold everything she asked. He offered her $4 million. He wouldn't pay her. She had to sue him just to get her money.
But how does somebody benefit by behaving like that? Like as a...
When that's the only way you know? I mean, he was born rich.
Yep.
Trump University, Trump Foundation, Trump Soho. Just example after example where he ripped off hard-working Americans.
And now he has watches, he has coins, he has crypto, he has NFTs, he has a stock, he's selling pieces of his suit. This article reads, Trump got rich by screwing over workers. He's doing it again as president. This was written near the end of his presidency. And I always go back to this article because it is quite exposing. I've read it multiple times. The biggest lie ever told in American politics is the claim that Donald Trump cares about the working people. He never has, he never will. As a bankruptcy-prone business mogul, Trump has always financed his lavish lifestyle at the expense of workers and contractors he screwed over, and now he's doing the same thing. You know what's really funny? My cameraman and I were talking one time after a Trump rally, and we were like, I wonder who pays for the local law enforcement, the Leos, and for the Secret Service to have these trains, these buses, basically stuff wrapped around as blockades. We were at a Trump rally and there were a bunch of buses. We were like, who pays for all this? So we looked it up to see if it was the Trump campaign or the taxpayers, and the first article said, Trump campaign rips off local law enforcement for providing security for a massive event. And my camera and I looked at each other like, that is so classic. That is beyond classic. Now, in this clip, Donald Trump just seems bored. Journalist Aaron Rupar says there's a decent chance Donald Trump nods off before the end of this event.
Incidents. Not one of them had their gun out of their holster. These weren't barricaded gunmen, wasn't a bank robbery. These were ambushes. That's in Michigan, 3 in 90 days. And they never fired a shot.
This dude is nearly falling asleep. Okay, the first time he closed his eyes for a few seconds, I was like, okay, maybe he just had something inside. The second time, this dude is almost falling asleep. Watch it one more time.
Out of their holster. These weren't
Close his eyes.
barricaded gunmen, wasn't a bank robbery. These were ambushes. That's in Michigan, 3 in 90 days. And they never fired a shot, never got their gun.
Either this dude is, oh, he does it again.
So
He is sleeping. He is bored as hell. In this clip, a business executive says, we need to crush jihad from this earth and we need Trump to do it. At least someone's bringing energy to this event.
I understand what it means to have jihad, right? And there's a big difference between jihad and wonderful Muslim workers in Michigan. They are not the same thing. We need to crush jihad from this earth, and we need Donald J. Trump to do it.
I don't know if this guy knows what jihad is. My dad is Muslim. His entire side of the family is Muslim. It's not like that, man. And over here, we have Trump with his arms crossed. Are his eyes closed again? He cannot stay awake during this event. Let's contrast this with how VP Harris is talking about Donald Trump being a union buster. It's important to promote our pro-democracy candidate. Make sure you drop a like for VP Harris.
Let's be clear. Donald Trump's insults to American workers is not exclusive to that video, okay? So that was just a moment, kind of think of it as the commercial break in my speech. But his comments are not only that, because Donald Trump has been a union buster his entire career. He has called union leaders, quote, dues-sucking people, okay? He said that he supports so-called right-to-work laws, quote, 100%, okay? He bragged and joked with a billionaire buddy about mass firing striking workers and lowered labor standards and made it easier for companies that break the laws to get federal contracts. Donald Trump encouraged automakers of Michigan so they could pay their workers less, encourage them to move.
Sorry to pause it, but really quickly, I want you to keep in mind how this perfectly links back to this clip of Donald Trump saying,
I don't know. Normally I say, don't pay the guy that supplied the mics.
I want you to think how this perfectly links back to what Mark Cuban said about his co-host on Shark Tank. I want you to think about this article about Donald Trump's entire presidency off of scamming people, and even my personal anecdote about Trump ripping off Secret Service and local law enforcement.
They could pay their workers less, okay? And when the UAW went on strike to demand the higher wages you deserve, Donald Trump went to a non-union shop and attacked the UAW. He said striking and collective bargaining don't make, and I'm going to quote, a damn bit of difference. So here's the bottom line. Donald Trump's track record is a disaster for working people.
Very, very true. On to this next clip of Donald Trump on the Dan Bongino show, and he's talking about the media attacking, guess who? Harvey Weinstein.
Democrats don't have to be honest. They really don't have to be honest because they will never be accused of anything. It's interesting. I was so amazed that Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. He got hit as hard as you can get hit because he was sort of the king of the woke, right? Yeah. And yet he got hit. And I figured that maybe he wouldn't get hit so hard. But boy, did he get, you don't know him well, I don't know him well, but I watched that and it was amazing. So when they do get hit, they get hit. But that's the only one I can think of. Normally they protect everybody. What they did with Adams, I think, is very suspect.
Every single time a powerful person gets hit hard, as Trump says it, he probably just sees himself in them and he's like, wow, is that coming to me? And at the same time, Donald Trump starts this clip off by saying Democrats don't have to be honest. Remember, the overarching theme of this video is that Trump is the one who scams workers while VP Harris is the one who prosecutes scammers. Here's another clip of VP Harris in Lansing, Michigan, a quick one where she says, Something about Mike Pence, watch.
Check this out, Donald Trump's current running mate, because you know the job was open, right? You know, like when people go for an interview, especially the young people, they'll go for an interview and they'll sit down and they're in the interview and they'll say, why is the job open? Well, we know why that job was open. So,
Mike Pence is just hanging around somewhere. Here's another clip from the roundtable.
Like, we'll get you in 10,000 people. But, so Dale, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Dale, take it away.
You're looking good, Dale. Look at the arms on this guy. He's
Well,
almost
Mr.
as bad
President,
as
real
my
quick, one
friend
thing
Harvey.
before Dale begins.
Yes.
Understand, Dale's a third-generation union worker, dedicated Teamster car hauler. So I know Dale
Wow.
has a lot of concerns
Good.
about the auto industry.
Trump does not care. Why is he so fidgety today?
He's got it too.
He can't even sleep at night. He's so excited about it. But they have to be. And then we have stupid people that don't know, you know, they say, oh, tariff. But they're very stupid people. We have a senator from Pennsylvania who decided not to run. He fought me all the way on tariffs. This guy fought me and fought me. His name's Toomey. He fought me, and I wouldn't endorse him, and he decided not to run based on that, and that's good because all he did was, I said, so if China charges 100 plus 100%, can we, for a similar product, charge them 100%? No.
Okay, even removing the tariff aspect, which we will get to, Donald Trump still doesn't understand them. Look at his face here. He is right now flexing his weird power, his weird grasp over the Republican Party. And this is something we've been talking about a lot, is that Donald Trump only has to rely on his MAGA fan base. They follow him. He can pander to them no matter what. Meanwhile, VP Harris has to attract a wide array of demographics, whether it's Black Americans or Jewish Americans or Muslim Americans. She has to fit the needs of each of these groups, and sometimes it feels like Donald Trump just has a core base of evangelicals plus MAGA hardcore sycophants, and that's what floats him by every single election. Actually, not every single election. MAGA has lost every election since 2018, and MAGA candidates were rejected in 2022 widely. So that feeds into my point that there's this small group of MAGA in the country that Donald Trump appeals to, while the broader demographics, broadly, people reject MAGA. They want to vote for VP Harris. Overall, both candidates are ramping up their campaign with 18 days to go. I'm glad that you guys are spending this time with me. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.